Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome to this episode of Anhar. Everybody wants to be successful, and everybody is trying their best to succeed in whatever they do. Success is a great motivating factor for us to achieve things in our life. But how do we measure success? By what metrics do we measure success? What is the metrics of success? Who says who is successful? How do we define success? These are the questions we have to dissect, concepts we have to dissect as we dive into this discussion. We have Dr. Afsar Yusuf. Question is, the topic is, what is the measure of success? Or by what metrics do we measure success? So it's in a way, pretty complicated question, because success can mean very different to different people.
Okay.
Different interpretation of success. Can you start?
Yes. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya wal mursaleen wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajmain. Yes, indeed, that is a very interesting topic, and the fact of how we know we are successful is one of the most important things. Otherwise, you may just be living a life without knowing where you're going. So I think that point. But taking success itself, success, many people, it's a platitude now, perhaps a little old-fashioned to say, but it is something that's been going around. Say, success is the journey, it's not a destination, right? So in a way, you are looking for success, but on the way, you are just struggling. So suppose you don't reach that destination of success that you feel is how you have thought about success, then your life would have been a big struggle. So the whole idea is that when you think about success, enjoy the journey also, right? Because success is not a destination. Success is the journey itself. So you can have ultimate that you want as success, or whole processes of little moments of achievement. That's what you say, how do you climb a big mountain? Step by step by step, right? So in life also, everything is about step by step by step. You can't suddenly graduate without going through your primary, secondary, tertiary education. At least bachelor's cannot be achieved without going through the primary levels of education. So I think it's really a goal that you set for yourself, that you say, I want to be this. I like to be this kind of a person. I like to have this and that. So those things that you like to be is the measure. Everything has a measure, right? A person's height is also measured. You can't just say he's a tall person. But the next question will be how tall? Or he's a heavy person, how heavy? So similarly, for everything in life that you do, I want to have a good meal. What does good mean? Right? What does rich mean? What does achieving, what does an education mean, for instance? So these are the constructs to which you have to give a measurement. So height is a construct or an attribute of a person, and so you must try to, in the official language, you say operational life. You have, so we say feet and inches or centimeters or in decimals. So you have that. So success could mean for some people having a lot of money, maybe $1 million, a very big house, having never to think about how I spend my money. I can just go and buy anything I want. That also will be an intermediate process by which you have gauged how much your journey is getting worth to that place.
Yes.
So it's about measurements. Everything has an attribute, meaning high, big, great, rich, poor, all these things, but they can be measured. A poor, poverty in a nation can be maybe how many dollars per earning monthly, for instance, or wealthy meaning all these measures of big, expensive gadgetry and mobility and living comforts and all those things. So basically that could be the beginning of our discussion.
Right.
But what do you think, for instance?
Yeah, I think success is very often misjudged as wealth, which is also a metric of success as far as I believe. But the issue is when we exclusively reduce it to a monetary value, let us say creation of wealth, how much are you worth? If you are of a big net worth as compared to another person, okay, and then you are regarded as a successful person. So we tend to attribute success to achievement in terms of wealth, in terms of creating successful means of earning, maybe a good cash flow, maybe number of properties, assets basically. Of course it is a measure of success and it should be undeniably regarded as a measure of success.
Yeah.
But the issue lies when we are obsessed with wealth and then pursue wealth at the expense of other values or other means of success. So in the journey, if we set our sole goal of success as creation of wealth, then that leads to deterioration of values or deterioration of morality, deterioration of it really puts the person in a compromised position as far as his spirituality is concerned, his morality is concerned, and his overall well-being. So that affects his psychological well-being, and then the person becomes really rapacious, very greedy, and the greed is we see as a daily phenomenon. The people are, greed takes the better of these people very often, and then they happen to sacrifice their family, their children, their friends and relations just for the sake of money.
So then there's another question that arises then. What does success mean actually? Is another word for that? Is it happiness, contentment, joy? Because ultimately success is a goal that you set. I think we've got to look at it that way.
Yeah.
There is no measure of success, ultimate success. It's always a variable, right? Now, I can be rich, but I can be very, very rich. Still, I can be happy with less also. Okay? There's a certain amount that I need to live with. I can't live if I just get, very, very basic on the poverty level. But some people do, and some people are happy also. There are lots of poor people who are happy. It doesn't mean that money will make them happy. There are some other factors that make them happy. So I think we are looking at a construct that will measure, the construct is success, okay? So success is measured, each one of us measures success in our own way. Now, for somebody, being rich means having, I don't know, a few $1,000s. That's also rich, based on where they're living, the context, the society they're living. If they live in a very rich country, then, meaning wealthy country, then that rich might be more than just $1,000. It may be $1 million, right? If you live in amongst the enclave of millionaires, then you may want to be a billionaire for you to be successful in your mind, right? Yes. Those measures are there. So it relates to the context also. And it relates also to the kind of job you are doing. Because all of us come just, as God sent us to this world. And as you grow up, you get affiliated with different types of things to do. You're fascinated by being either a fireman or a carpenter or a musician. And then when you go higher, you start wanting to be better. You're going to be a professor maybe, or a scientist, or a doctor, or a nurse, or whatever. And so you set your goals. And to the degree that you can get to that goal determines how successful you are. But it doesn't mean that you are down in the dumps just because you don't achieve that. Because every intermediate level also can be enjoyed. So unless you can relate that achievement of success to some contentment, because happiness alone cannot be defined also, because you can never be happy. You can never be content. Then it's not happiness. It's only when you are contented, you are okay with having this amount, when your mind can actually accommodate this view that that's enough for me, then you will be happy with even less, right? So I think that's a very important thing we are talking about, because many people think just when you're rich, you'll be successful. Based on your measurement or of the objective, defining of your objective, then yes, you have got rich. But are you happy really? Because that's the more important part you have to look at. Success has to be defined as I'm happy in life. I feel good about myself. I feel good that I'm in this position. Not proud necessarily. That's also not success, I guess. Because you want other people to feel good about you also. And that's also success. You don't need money for that. Right? So I think we can...
Yeah. And...
what do you say about this objective? Setting your goals. Isn't that goals?
It's quite a relative concept as well, as you said. For example, amongst wealthy people, my, for example, standard of richness or being wealthy can be very different. So, for example, in a certain neighborhood, if it is a neighborhood of wealthy class, then within that neighborhood there will be people who are considered richer than others. And then, so it is monetarily, wealth in terms of wealth, with monetary value or net worth, in terms of net worth. But the issue I find with these concepts is the delusions people tend to suffer from. Delusions in the sense that we tend to, we all are vulnerable to these concepts of success and how we determine how much a person is successful or how to rate a person's success. We are the vulnerability lies in delusion, the delusion of denying reality, that is the only means of success. For example, my success, I may be successful in let us say, a public service career, or I may be successful as a businessman. I may be successful as maybe a service provider, some kind of service provider, as maybe an entrepreneur in some respect. And then that consistency down the line for decades together could give me a sense of achievement. And that achievement could delude me into believing that I'm the most successful person, and my standard of success should be pervasive for everybody. But this kind of delusion, another delusion is the reality we tend to deny is that the world is temporal. It is a fleeting moment in life. I mean, look at how a person changes from being a young man or a young woman to an old man and old woman. And then within a matter of days, we find people wealth dwindling and hitting rock bottom in no time. And then, on the contrary, people rise as well.
So
from rock bottom to...
Your delusion is gone.
Yeah, from rock bottom to days of affluence. So these are, I mean, the delusion I'm referring to is about denial of the reality of this world. That there is a message for us to follow, there are certain realities we cannot deny, and there is a revealed way of life for us, a complete way of life. And when we deny that, for example, a person could very well deny, for example, Quran doesn't exist as a revealed book from God, and then doesn't read it. I'm denying that. I'm denying this opportunity to myself. I'm not ascertaining myself whether or not it's a book from God. The claim is there that it is a preserved book. It is completely unchanged. But I'm denying the reality to myself by not getting into it or not having a feel of what it is.
Yeah.
Just leaving it as somebody's guesswork.
As somebody else's book, not mine. It's not for me,
Right.
kind of. Yes, I think there are lots of people who are living their lives in a hedonistic way, just waking up in the morning and just doing their own thing, life or whole life, because. But ultimately, as time goes and as you get older, you realize that time has passed. Unlike when you were a teenager, you felt that time is always there. We will never lose this time. And so that's the realization that comes and says, I wish I had done something more in my life. Have I wasted my life? Because time is finite, right? And so you have 24 hours a day, and I don't know how long I'm going to live. You might just tomorrow be, run over by a vehicle. Who knows? And so you can't, just because you are young, you cannot take life for granted. That death is always there, waiting for you. Okay? It's not to scare someone, but the realization that death is an inevitability. We will have to move into that one day or the other. So, would you want to delude yourself that that was not going to happen? There is no other thing except just enjoy life. And if you do that, then a time will come when you will have to begin questioning yourself, have I lived my life well? And I think that's what you're saying. So to diverge from that, so not to diverge, but I would say spirituality is also a path to success, right? So we know from the Quran that there are many places where they say success is this or success is that, which relates to being a righteous person, or praying on time, or praying with the kind of khushu that is necessary to be prayed in, right? And so the fact that this world is a place for us to be tested, and that testing will know what kind of people we are. It's an attempt for us to also listen to ourselves and say, am I living a life that is good? It's a wake-up call also. Many a time, what am I doing here? Am I going the right way? So if you look at people who are doing all kinds of jobs, a business will look at maybe, what do you call this, return on investment and things like that. Or they might say net profit. These are the wins, And there must be other indicators and other ratios by which you measure the success of a company or the value of wealth in a nation even. And so that's one thing. But the other thing is you may be personal. You are looking for becoming a good human being. That also you have to set some goals. What do I want to be, for instance? Am I important to others? Can I be important to others? Or am I just living a life that I'm important to myself only?
That's a very, very critical question, I think. How much are you worth in terms of value for others?
Mm-hmm.
A very good question. But since it is half time, we'll take a break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. We are discussing metrics of success. Well, it is a very interesting question, where you left off by saying, how much of value can you create for others?
Yes.
As a company, how much of value is your company making? How much of value is there for others in terms of your existence as a company, as an individual, as an organization, as official, if it is government service.
Yes, exactly.
As an official.
Public servant.
So it's not how much you give to yourself that makes you worthy of success, but how much value can you create for others?
Mm-hmm.
How far can somebody gratify by means of your magnanimity, by means of your generosity, by means of your kindness, sincerity, by means of your ingenuity? Mm-hmm. Maybe if you are engineers, if you are a technocrat of some sort, because of your ingenuity, because of your smartness, or hard-working nature of you, how much value can you create for your society, and how much can you pass on to the next generation?
Yeah, so a good question is, what kind of metrics are you going to use for that? Good person, kind person, very helpful person. There may be, non-mechanical measures also, abstract measures like this. And that's also important to know. And I think in the softer areas of life, now when you are going to be in a company, you have two kinds of people, I think. You are very well versed with companies. You will employ people who are technically qualified for the job. right? Don't
Well,
you? No.
I
Won't
myself
you?
is a
Sorry?
keen learner, and I think one has to be a learner always, continuously.
No, what I'm saying is, if you are the boss of a company, you're going to employ people who are technically competent for the work that you do in the company, right?
Yeah.
Misal, if it's an engineering company,
Yeah.
you will get good engineers. If it's a medical, then you'll have good people who
But
are
it
pharmacists.
has to also be coupled with the other characteristics like character.
That's what
Character
I'm.
assessment has to be coupled with this
Yes.
technical know-how.
That's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
There are two kinds of people
Right.
in this. There are this technical, hard kind of people who are knowledgeable in the field,
Right.
and there are the soft kind of people who bring the softness, the emotional intelligence, the coordination, the cooperation,
Compassion.
and then empathy. All these things are there. So these two together make a company good. Just like in life, in everything, you have to have this part.
Those are the ingredients exactly, I think, that build a good team.
Yeah.
And good team is the engine by which a company rises to its full potential.
Yes, I mean, team has to be built, as you say. There's a thing in management, we say there are 4 stages. Good to know, who is listening, young people. Forming, norming, storming, and performing. First you form, then you create the norms, then you storm, you fight and argue and do all that, and then finally they'll perform, right? So it has to go through that. But you have to have leaders who will energize them to do that and make that happen, right? So that's a success. Building success for a company also depends on good leaders, good workers, who will become good leaders later on also.
Well, yeah, it is quite enigmatic for us to discuss about company success when we really don't own our own businesses, and yet, yeah, that is not strange, since we, as distant observers, can identify. For example, I may not be a doctor, but I can, of course, identify if somebody is not healthy, but I may not be able to diagnose what is the sickness, disease, or how to come up with treatment, what treatment. But as a normal human being, I would be able to witness or discern that something is wrong and something is right. So to that extent, I think we can easily sense what is right with a company or a person or an organization, and what is wrong with a company. And when we think about it, when we really think through the issues that
So
we
on
have
the
at
path
hand.
to success,
Path to
you are
success,
thinking of
yeah,
all these
maybe
things.
what may be the flaws, what are the flaws, or what are the strengths. For example, sometimes we may try to create value for people, for a company, for our environment, for our families, with best of intentions, and yet we may be floundering as far as leadership is concerned. It may be because of
So you need a good leader.
we need good leaders. So even for the best of achievements or with the best of intentions, we
Not
go
right.
haywire. We go haywire
Yeah,
very
of
often
course.
because of poor leadership.
Yeah.
And leaders make, I think, very big difference in arriving at success. And sometimes wrong people, when wrong people take charge for wrong reasons, we tend to suffer
Yeah.
as an organization, as a family also sometimes. It's very often leadership
You may have
of the father or the mother
yeah.
or
hopeless dad or
hopeless dad,
mommy.
hopeless mother. And we render ourselves hopeless because of our attitudes.
That's right, that's right. So I think that's a good point when we started talking about personal matrices. I mean, you can set a matrix of your own personality also.
Absolutely.
Are you, as I said, are you one who tries to create good impact on others? Right? So that's one.
Right.
No, I'm not. I'm a bit selfish. I think I need to improve myself. Maybe I'll set a goal. By the end of this year, I will become a more helpful person. You can do that and work on it because you have identified a flaw in you that you are not a very helpful person. You are a selfish person. So you put a mirror onto you and see, am I seeing a helpful person or am I seeing a selfish person? Another thing we can talk about is alignment with your actions and values. Do I talk and walk the talk, or am I a double-edged guy? Do I say something and do something else? Am I a bit hypocritical? That can be a flaw that I identified in myself, and I say, I'm going to improve myself. I'm going to be a very open person. I will walk the talk. And I can do that. And yet again, another one is a very important thing, growth. What are the obstacles in my path? Because if I want to go ahead, you won't find a straight road always. You'll always find obstacles. In an office also, you might want to work hard, but there are people who will stop you from really doing it. Do you want to do all that? It's all office time is finished now. Why are you staying overtime and trying to do too much? You make life difficult for us all because then people will judge us from your standard. So things like that, people who go beyond their call of duty. That's also a type of attitude of people who want to succeed. I will do more than what's necessary because that's the way I can be a little better. And they say, people, for hiring, who gets the job may be the people who are technically competent. But who make the organization succeed are the soft guys, who are the communicators, who are the empathizers, who are the orchestrators, and this kind of people. So you need those people. But on the books, we certainly mostly feel, these technical guys are the best ones. I need all these technical people. But you may have technical people who are hopeless in their manners and attitudes.
Very true, very true. And doing the best thing in the best of manner, in the best possible way, it should be a very important metric of success, as far as I can sense it. For example, a teacher, being a good teacher, a person who inspires the students, a source of inspiration to students. As it is said, it's the 1% of inspiration and 99% of perspiration that determine success. So that 1% inspiration can be instrumental in driving success forward. So, and being a professional of one sort or the other also is very important to be the best version of yourself in doing what you do.
Yeah. So you should be that. It will be very difficult to inspire yourself, but if you have bosses who are inspirational, leaders who are inspirational, parents who are inspirational, teachers who are inspirational, that volume or the matrix of inspiration will increase in me as a student. And I will work hard because every time I get a good comment or a positive nod, I feel good about.
Yes.
Yeah, and then I work hard. So those things are very important because if you want to improve everybody in an organization or in a school or anywhere, even in politics, you have to have people who are inspirational. That way you inspire the public to be involved in the process of governance also.
Well, and also jumping into conclusions that, a person is successful, a person is not successful, one is failure, these metrics of failure, for example. How
You
to
mean
judge,
somebody
how,
judges
how
you?
to judge when a person has failed in something. For example, if you look at a noble prophet's journey, 13 years in Makkah, how much of success did he have in Makkah? I mean, in spite of the 13 years, he had to struggle. I mean, his struggle was so profound and so intense that it is beyond compare as far as the pain and the suffering and the humiliation he had to go through. But it was 13 years, and then look at the turning point after his migration. It took a major turn. It revolutionized the course of history. It completely brought about a new form of life, a new era of development, prosperity, and moral uprightness, and peace and prosperity for a generation. And it spread like wildfire.
Yes, yes.
I mean, it spread so fast from east to west, from north to south. It went beyond Arabia within no time.
Yeah, and fast, 20 years.
Very fast. And there are political leaders, who have had failure after failure, failure after failure, continuously for a few decades. And then they reach that critical mass of success and then attain that glory.
Yes.
So it's the continuity and the consistency and the perseverance
Absolutely.
that finally lead to that moment of glory.
Yes.
So
Yeah, I don't know whether they're looking for glory, but they want an achievement for the people they are thinking about. And I think that the glory is for the people. But most people who are going in that journey of success, in that soft success kind of thing, not in the businesses and jobs and things like that, but in the area of being a better human being and all that, there, as you say, their journey is to liberate society. And that must be the goal also, to liberate society, because everybody is in a bind, whether they may be not slaves or in chains, but we are in chains in our hearts, right? Because of how we have been brought up or have been treated in the past. And so those chains must be broken, and it can be done only through our own effort. But inspiration has to be there. And I think the Prophet's life journey is like the perfect ideal of a hero's journey. He didn't necessarily want to be a hero, but he was destined to be a hero in that sense for all of us. But a hero's journey is also a very interesting concept. Is you have the ordinary person who is living life, and then he meets with an obstacle, and how he overcomes it, not just by himself, but with the support of some people who are teachers and advocates and supporters and inspirers. And then through that, they achieve their end, right? And that is why when we were talking, we said, obstacles are really not something to be sad about, because every obstacle is a path to another opportunity, another moment to wake up and say, I have now another chance. Because people who don't have anything that comes in their way, they don't really grow. Just like as you said about hardship, the Prophet's hardship made him a great person. Of course he was destined also, I would say. But for all of us, we have that idea that if we don't have hardships when we are young, then you don't become a strong adult. And these are lessons, these are thoughts we would like to express to the parents who are watching us, because we pamper our kids all the time now. We don't make them do any hard work or, work beneath their dignity, so to say. And they are so engrossed in their feeling of being, they're entitled. So when they get into the real world of people, they're not quite ready. So they're going to lose a while. Of course, they'll catch up maybe, but they have lost some time getting back into that groove. And that's hard for them. It can be very hard and sad for them also. Some people go into depression also because they were not used to it. Now, where is my mommy and daddy?
Yeah.
They're not there with me to do everything for me now.
Absolutely. I mean, the truth of being a Muslim is unchallenged as far as if you measure it with a scientific attitude by, cause and effect. For example, Prophet's journey, it was quite miraculous in a way, his successes. But if you look at, if you analyze it, you see there are reasons and causes and effects as he developed his journey in terms of advancement of his prophetic journey. So it was his moral uprightness, his moral always moral high ground that he always kept for himself, that led to winning of the hearts. And it was winning of the hearts that turned his enemies into friends, and people came into Islam in droves. Finally, it led to conversion of entire Arabia into Muslim land, and Islam flourished non-stop for over 1,000 years since then. The idea is this cannot be dismissed as simply it was a prophet and this is far beyond application to our times. It cannot be dismissed because it was a lesson for the humanity. You and me, all of us, can benefit from his example as to become good human beings in whatever we do. He was the one who allowed, who encouraged, who fostered these talents of people. And he, being the Prophet himself, he engaged in consultative, in consulting his companions. Why would he consult his companions when he has the revealed knowledge of doing everything and anything? And yet, because he was teaching the humanity how to live life, and consultation is part of the life.
Right? Yeah.
So we have to be consultative in arriving at decisions when we want to be successful. I think another matter that we can bring up here is how do we rate ourselves as a we all wear different hats. I may be an engineer, I may be a teacher, I may be a businessman. How do I rate as a father myself? How do I rate as a friend? How do I rate myself as a neighbor, as a human being, to the passerby, to the stranger, or to the children, to the elderly, to the sick, and to the needy? How am I to them? How do I rate myself? How much marks would I give to myself as compared to how much marks do I attain from others' perspective, how others view myself as a good human being, does it converge, or does it diverge, or does it conflict, in other words?
Yeah.
So if that is, so these are the ways we could evaluate ourselves and to become better human beings.
Very, very true. You got to always reflect on yourself. What am I? That's what I said. Hold a mirror to yourself and say, are you a jealous person? Are you a kind person? Are you an angry person?
Right.
I want to improve my ways. And then you will set your goals. If you really want to be, you will set your goals and then you will achieve it also. Because and for Muslims, I mean, we are encouraged to ask Allah for support in all these things. Imagine during our prayers, what little beautiful little du'as we are saying at every moment of our, different movements. Rabbi Fidli, Warhamni, Wajburni, Warfawni, Warzuqni. It's everything we are asking. But we don't ask. We just go quickly, finish up. And I mean, these things we realize only when we also begin to reflect on these things and think about the meaning and all that. And I think we have to, then going back to the real world, I mean, our life as Muslims, yeah, in the real world also. But I think one thing I wanted to say, if I can, do I have a minute maybe? I want to just say about our soft skills, emotional intelligence, our adaptability, and our ability to communicate. These factors are very important to inculcate in our young people also, because that is the success factor really, not the knowledge you have. Knowledge is important. As you say, you'll get employed because of your knowledge, because of your certificates. But you need these characters to rise in the ranks in the office, in the government, or whatever job you're doing. Because these help people to realize you are the inspirers. You are the patient people who are guiding everyone. And so in communication, I really feel verbal, written, writing, and listening, empathy. I mean, I just note some of these, and creative thinking, and even the idea of leadership also. You got to be, training or orienting your staff towards leadership also in all our offices.
Right.
And parents must, as I say, these 4 or 5 criteria: verbal, written, listening skills, empathy, creative thinking in schools. If we don't do these things, you won't catch that right group of human beings to push this nation forward. And I think that's where success lies.
Very true, very true. So we should not regard ourselves as solely created for money, and we should not enslave ourselves to pursuit of money, because our interaction should not be always transactional. We should go beyond that.
Transformational.
And we transform ourselves to become better human beings, to be better human beings. Dr. Absar Yusuf, thank you. Very important discussion.
Thank you for having
Thank you,
me.
viewers, for tuning in. Assalamu alaikum.